Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I'm Stylosa, and today we're going to talk about the Steam mod shop. Now, what the hell is this? Well, the Steam Workshop now supports paid-for content, but it doesn't support it for everything in the workshop. It only supports it for Skyrim at the moment, okay? Now, what the hell is this program? Well, you've got 24 hours to claim a refund after you buy a mod, okay? So, supposedly, this is to make sure that the mod works on your game. Although 24 hours is not long enough, but I'll get onto that in a second. Number 2. Free mods will still be available on the workshop alongside paid ones, which, again, goes without saying kind of thing. Number 3, developers and publishers have to decide if the paid workshop gets enabled for their game. Number 4, mod creators can earn revenue off their work. Again, goes without saying. And number 5, mod packs, creators can allocate revenue sharing between each mod creator. Which, again, is pretty good because modding is all about, well, a lot of the time it's collaborative works. You get mod packs, you get somebody creates a mod which is dependent on another mod. Skyrim script extender, for example. You know, mods that depend on the mod which then goes together and enhances the game. You know, a lot of that goes on within the modding community. However, talking about revenue shares, let's just have a look at the figures quoted by various mod creators, and this has also pretty much been confirmed. The developer gets 45%. Valve get 30% and the mod creator gets 25% of the cost of the mod, okay? So if the mod's $1, it gets split up, you know, 25 cents to the creator, 30 cents to Valve, 45 to the developer. I think this makes sense because 30% is pretty much Valve's typical cut when it comes to Dota 2 and the CSGO workshop items. It's also the minimum cut they take through sales of games on Steam. But let's just talk why this could be a potential disaster for gamers buying these mods. You know, what happens if the game updates after the 24-hour period in which you can claim a full refund? I mean, what the hell then? You just expect it to take the hit? You know, we always come back to this thing with digital goods, and especially games. You would never buy a car that could potentially randomly stop working. So why is that kind of acceptable when it comes to games? It's crazy. You know, and that could easily happen with mods. And, you know, it happens a lot with mods anyway. And if people are just going to start charging for their mods, it's going to happen with those mods as well. I mean, talking about mods which have gone tits up already with the paid system, let's talk about Chesco's fishing mod. Now, this has been removed from the Steam Workshop. The paid for workshop, that is. Because the mod uses assets from 4's new idols in Skyrim, which is another mod. Now, this would have been entirely okay where free mods were concerned. But in this newfangled world of paid-for mods, it's no longer the case. 4, you see, he didn't want to sell his mods. Chesco did, though. Chesco's mod relies on 4's mod. You can see where this is going. You know, modding it's more often than not a community effort. It's a place where mod creators collaborate and make wonderful things. With the introduction of money, this attitude's just going to change. You know, or at least it's going to be heavily diminished. But what made this interesting was the fact it was an early access mod. An early access mod. I mean, there's probably people sitting at home right now listening to this thinking, are you taking the piss? An early access mod? No, it was an early access mod. I mean, let me quote this from the page. Art of the Catch is in early development. However, the fishing mechanic is fully functional. Because of this, it is currently being offered at an early bird introductory price. The suggested and minimum price will increase as additional features are added. Now, it's been removed, guys. It's been removed from the store. But it does set a dangerous precedent, doesn't it? You know, what if little Johnny comes along and he's like, hi, I've got a great idea for a mod and I've got all these features. If you buy into it, we'll eventually get to these features. It's going to be a fantastic mod. But then little Johnny only delivers half of what he actually promised. This is a Kickstarter situation, or at least a potential Kickstarter situation. You know, I kind of accept that it's entirely up to the consumer to actually make an informed decision if the product is for them. Although I'm still not sure a mod is actually a product, but we'll get onto that. You know, the decision isn't Valve's decision to buy. You know, they don't say to you, buy the mod, you've got to make that decision. But Valve, through their framework, they do enable that kind of situation. You know what, let's pretend we're a developer for a second. Let's pretend we're Bethesda, right? Okay, so we've got Skyrim, we've got Fallout, but let's just say we've got Skyrim for the moment, right? The biggest modded game on Steam by a mile, okay? One of the most heavily modded PC games there's ever been. You've got this game, and you get strong sales year on year on year on year, okay? Why are you getting that? You're no longer updating the game. In fact, the last time you updated the game was ages ago. But you're still making sales. This is because there is a massive mod community. In fact, this is further reinforced, or the point I'm trying to make is further reinforced by Bohemia Interactive. So these are the guys behind Arma. Look at the sales of Arma 2 when DayZ came to prominence. Holy shit, they must have made a ton of money off that. But let's just, I mean, well, actually, would they have made that much money if DayZ was a paid-for mod? Probably not, because people wouldn't pay for a mod and then buy their game, you know. But having to pick up armor was seen acceptable to play the mod. But let's just go back to not Bohemia. Let's go back to Bethesda again with Skyrim. I am pretty sure that their sales of their game up until this point, the fact that they've remained so strong is because it is it can be a heavily modded game. So the game experience can change, okay? This means if you own the game on your Xbox 360, you could then buy the PC version, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done this, just for the modded experience, just for the additional content you can get, because there are vast amounts of additional mod content you can get for the game. You know, you can basically turn it into a different game. It's that ridiculous. So the mods have drove sales. But what happens if they, on day one, locked all of their mods behind a paywall? I don't think it would have been as successful. This is why Skyrim is kind of a good example, or like kind of, it's an ideal product for this type of paid mod thing, because they've already creamed massive exposure and sales off the free mods. Now they can charge for mods because they've got such a massive installed user base. Some people may actually start buying mods, but I think they're in a special situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's many other publishers out there. I mean, do I go out on a limb and say I don't think Paradox will probably do that for City Skylines? I don't think they'll start charging for mods, or like give people the option to sell mods. Maybe they will. But I've got a ton of mods installed in that game. And you know what? I played that game for hours more simply because I can install a ton of mods. New road mods, new building mods, all of that stuff. It extends the life of the game. So there is a lot to think about when, you know, just from the developer's point of view. Do they enable this kind of thing or don't they? But I mean, is a mod even a product? This is another thing which I'm trying to wrap my head around. Is it something that you could actually charge for? You know, because a mod tends to be rough around the edges. Like I said at the start of this, it's like a creative adaptive work. It's something which is designed to enhance an existing piece. Why haven't they gone like the tip or the donation route? I mean, Jesus Christ, why haven't they gone the patron support route? I mean, in a lot of ways, this is very similar to what I do on YouTube and what Unit Lost does. We make videos on YouTube, right? We use content more often than not from a game company, okay? From a developer, from a publisher, whatever. We use that as the base of the content we produce, all right? We don't charge for our videos, okay? We have Patreon, we have tips, we do get ad revenue, which, again, maybe that is something they could integrate into the mod community in some way instead of actually making it paid for. But I still think the best way in my mind to support a mod creator would be to give you the option of actually giving them money. Not making you pay for access, but saying, okay, I like this guy. He's made a ton of great mods. I've really had a lot of enjoyment out of this. I'll throw you a few dollars. That, to me, is the best way of doing it. But again, like, I mean, you talk about YouTube. Well, I talk about YouTube and Valve. They seem very similar. Like, YouTube has problems. Like, it has great ideas on paper. The YouTube tip jar, for example. Yet they bury it in a place where nobody would ever see it. You know, why is that functionality not on the video view page, like on the page you're actually watching this video on now? So if you agree with this video, you could throw a bit of money that content creator's way. Why don't Valve do that? Why is there not like a button underneath the item on the store where, you know, you could tip the creator? But instead they've gone for the paid for route, which, you know, I don't think that's the way to go for mods. I really don't think that is the way to go. I mean, if we go back to the thing I was talking about earlier with the 24-hour, you've got a 24-hour grace period to get a full refund, which is fine, right? 24 hours to get a full refund. It's okay for Skyrim, kind of, because the game's never going to be updated again. What happens if it's a newer game? You buy a mod, they update the game, the mod no longer works, the mod developer doesn't update the mod. You've got something which is completely useless. Yeah, it may have worked for a time, but it no longer works anymore. We all know mods, well, you have conflicts when you install mods. Certain mods just simply will not work with other mods installed, and it's very difficult to work out what will work and what won't work when everybody's modded game is different to everybody else's. You know, what happens if I've got 30 mods installed and then I pick up a mod for to change the foliage around Whiterun, for example, in Skyrim, but for some reason that causes a couple of my other mods to stop working, which has an impact on my other mods. It's such a messy thing. Like, I just firmly believe you cannot charge on a per product basis for mods, because they could not work. They're not like polished enough to warrant the cost. Some of them maybe, okay, but they are still mods. They, you know, it's all. It's not. I was going to say it's a grey area. It's not a grey area. I just firmly believe that they are not something you can actually charge for. This is what this is what's sending me crazy. But I mean, they have decided to charge for them. Okay, so the way they split the revenue up is a bit of a joke in my eyes as well. To give the content creator only, so the mod creator, 25% of the revenue, with Valve taking 30 and the developer taking 40, 45 even. That's quite bad. I mean, I guess you could argue, well, Sty, you know, they were getting nothing for their mod anyway, so at least something's better than nothing, kind of. But the price of some of the mods I've seen at the moment, they are pretty cheap. Okay, they're not like massive mods, like total overhauls and stuff. I haven't seen any of that on the store just yet. You know, they've just been single items and stuff like that. You have to make $100 before Steam even pay you. If you were selling something for $1, considering your split would be 25 cents, that would be a lot of sales to even make that. So it's dodgy. And then also we could talk about the dark side of this, where people will start doing things just to make money. You know, there will be mods moving from the Nexus site, which is the massive mod database, which were free, which suddenly are now paid, because people, as soon as they see a way to make money, will jump on it. And you can't really blame them for that, because they put a lot of effort into what they've done. I'm just not sure this is the right way to do it, and I'm not entirely sure Valve through Steam can actually regulate this, because we all know the shit show that is Greenlight. They do regulate their stores to some degree with Dota 2 and CS:GO. In fact, and TF2. They sell their items through the game, okay? You can make an item, it gets approved, it gets sold. The problem with the mod system is you could make a mod and charge for it. Anybody can do it, and it's just going to be a disaster show of who knows what. And I don't know, guys. I don't agree with what they're doing. It's as I say, I think the donation system is the way forward for this. The tip system, the support system, not selling the mods. I'm totally against selling the mods. I guess just to wrap this up as well, I mean, I could say, because I could sit here all day talking about this. You know, hell, I did actually write a script for this, but you can probably tell I haven't been really reading my script because, well, I think this just had to be something that came from the heart, because PC gaming, modding it is such a part of it. For it to be kind of messed with, it's not offensive, but it's like, it kind of shakes me to the core, because you don't expect to be paying for mods. But on the other hand, I'm totally fine with supporting somebody for creating a mod, because things become a little bit easier that way. It doesn't have to be this super refined product. You can kind of, oh, it's fine, there's a little bit dodgy, you know, we're just supporting it sort of thing. You don't feel as if you've paid for it, and you've got a product which potentially could stop working if the game gets updated. If you buy another mod, it might stop working. It's just way too iffy, guys, for me to let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I will be reading the comments. They should be really interesting for this video. So there you go, guys. I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you like the video, then like the video, and I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.